Pull up a chair. Tonight, I want to tell you about love. Real love. The kind that doesn't know when to stop. The kind that crosses every boundary a person is supposed to respect. There is a canal in Bangkok, the Phra Khanong, that has been telling this story for over 200 years. The locals know it, the monks know it, and the woman at the center of it, she knows it best of all. Her name was Nak, and the most frightening thing about her was not what she was. It was how much she loved him. Mak was a young man from the banks of the Phra Khanong Canal. Not remarkable in any particular way. A farmer, kind-faced, the sort of person who remembered everyone's name and meant it when he asked how you were. He fell in love with a girl named Nak, the way people fall into rivers, not all at once, but gradually, then completely. She was beautiful in the unself-conscious way of someone who has never been told to be otherwise. Quick to laugh, slow to anger, the kind of woman who made a house feel like a home simply by being in it. They married young. They built a wooden house on stilts above the canal and filled it with the ordinary rhythms of a life together. Then war came. Mak was conscripted. He had no choice. None of them did. He kissed Nak goodbye at the water's edge, her belly already round with their first child, her eyes dry because she was stronger than he was, and they both knew it. He promised to come back. She told him she would be waiting, and she was right. She would be waiting longer than either of them expected. Nak went into labor alone. There were complications, the kind that, in a wooden house above a Thai canal in the middle of the 19th century, with no doctor and no one close enough to hear her calling, left no room for a good outcome. Nak died. The baby died too. The neighbours found them. They buried them quietly with care, and they grieved, and they waited for Mak to come home so someone could tell him. Mak came home 18 months later, thin, scarred, carrying the particular exhaustion of a man who has seen things he will spend the rest of his life trying not to see again. He walked the path along the canal toward home, and there she was, Nak, standing in the doorway of their house, smiling. She looked exactly as he remembered, perhaps more beautiful, if anything. The baby was in her arms, a healthy, quiet infant who watched Mac with dark, calm eyes. Mac wept. He stepped inside. She fed him. She held him. She told him everything was all right now. He was home, and he believed her. Why wouldn't he? He was home. The neighbors talked. Of course they did. They had buried Nak with their own hands. They had watched the ground close over her. They had wept at her funeral. And now she was there, cooking, laughing, walking to the canal to fetch water. They told Mac, gently at first. An old woman who had known him since childhood took him aside one morning and told him what had happened while he was away. Mac listened politely, and then he told her she was confused. That grief did strange things to the mind, that Nak was alive and well and at home with their son. The old woman looked at him for a long moment. Then she walked away without another word. Others tried. A monk from the local temple came to the house under the pretense of a blessing. He left quickly. He told the other monks he could not stay. He didn't say why. His hands were shaking. Men who had been friends with Mac since boyhood stopped visiting the house, then stopped walking that stretch of the canal altogether. And Mac noticed. He just didn't understand. Or perhaps, and this is the part that keeps me awake, perhaps some part of him did understand, and chose her anyway. There was an evening, the evening everything changed, when Mak and Nak were sitting on the porch above the canal. The air was warm. The water was black and still below them. The baby was sleeping inside. A lime fruit rolled off the edge of the porch and fell down toward the canal far below. Nak reached for it, and her arm stretched downward, past the railing, past the edge of the porch, past where any arm should be able to reach, down and down, and further down still, until her fingers closed around the lime at the waterline far below, and she drew her arm back up, long and wrong and impossible, and placed the lime on the table as if nothing had happened. Mac stared at his hand on the table. He could not look at her. He understood now. He had understood for a long time. He just hadn't let himself know it. Mac waited until she slept. He moved through the house in the dark, past the baby that was not breathing, past the woman he loved who was not living, and he lowered himself from the back of the house into the cold water of the canal below. He swam without making a sound. He swam until his lungs burned. He pulled himself onto the far bank and he ran. He ran to the temple. The monks took him in. They knew. They had been expecting him. They placed him inside the sanctuary walls, and from across the canal, in the dark, Nak called his name. Once, twice. Her voice was exactly as it had always been, warm, familiar, his. He did not answer. He pressed his back against the temple wall, and he did not answer. Nak did not take it well. The neighbours who had tried to warn Mak, who had spoken her name to him, who had attempted to pull him away from her, they suffered. Accidents, mostly. Falls, fevers, animals that turned strange overnight. A child who woke up screaming and wouldn't say what she had seen. A man who had been the most insistent in telling Mac the truth was found in the canal one morning. The temple monks said nothing officially, but they burned incense for 3 days straight. And when they moved through the village, they moved quickly, and they did not walk near the canal after dark. Eventually, a shaman was called, the most powerful in the region, a man who was very old and very quiet, and who listened to the whole story without expression. He went to the house alone. What happened inside, no one knew. He emerged an hour later, carrying a clay jar sealed with wax and cord. He said nothing about what was inside. He took it to the river. He said the prayers. He sank it, and the village went quiet. And Mak, who was still in the temple, who had not slept in 11 days, felt something release. The weight that had been sitting on his chest since the evening of the lime finally lifted. He walked out of the temple into the morning. The canal was still. The birds were back. A child was playing near the water, and no one was calling her inside. He stood at the bank for a long time. Then he walked away. He did not look back at the house. He never returned to that stretch of the canal. Mae Nak Phra Khanong. That's her name now, not the ghost of the canal, not the dead woman, not the monster. Mae Nak, Lady Nak, honored. Because here is the part of this story that never made it to the horror films. The people of Bangkok eventually built a shrine for her. It still stands. At Wat Mahabut Temple, on the banks of the Phra Khanong Canal. Women visit it to this day. They bring flowers. They bring offerings. They ask for luck and love, for good marriages, for their husbands to come home safe. They pray to her, to Nak, the woman who loved someone so completely that she refused to let something as small as death get in the way. I have thought about the story for a long time now, and the question that stays with me isn't whether she was a monster. It's this. If you came home from a war, exhausted, broken, desperate for something to hold on to, and the person you loved most in the world was standing in the doorway, would you ask questions? Or would you just step inside? Sleep well tonight. I'll be back next week. Keep the lights on.